Okay, today I have a question for you guys. Let's say I were to come up to you and offer you a deal. I'll give you $1 million right now, or I'll give you a 50-50 shot at winning $10 million. I'll flip a coin, and if it's heads, you get 10 million. If it's tails, you get nothing. Which option do you take? Now, I bet there's probably going to be some goofballs in the comments trying to convince me that they'd go for the $10 million. And who knows, maybe there's an Arab prince or someone that watches my videos who money doesn't really mean anything for, and he actually would go for 10 million. But for 99% of us, we would all take the $1 million. The possibility of winning 10 times that is not worth the 50-50 risk. So why am I bringing this up today? Well, the reason is today we're talking about probability and expected value. Expected value is something that's used quite often in poker, actually, to determine whether or not a player should make a certain play or not. Like, let's set up a scenario here. Let's say we're playing Texas Hold'em and we get dealt pocket tens, a guy moves all in on us, and we think he has ace king. Should you make that call or not? Well, according to expected value, yes, you should. Pocket tens has around a 57% chance of beating ace-king offsuit pre-flop and around a 53% chance of beating ace-king suited. So the probability of you winning the hand is a little better than a coin flip. If you were to run this scenario 100 times and you always made that call, then you would lose some because, again, your odds are only a little better than a coin flip, but you would win more often than you lose the more often you make that call. By the law of large numbers, you would eventually make money. You have a positive expected value. Now, the little thought experiment at the beginning of the video is something that poker players will use quite often to explain to each other that you shouldn't always be a slave to expected value. If we go back to that original question, the shot at $10 million has a higher expected value than the guaranteed $1 million. If you were to run that thought experiment 100 times, you would obviously only win $100 million if you picked $1 million every time. But if you picked the shot at $10 million, you would win around 50 of them, and you would make $500 million, a whole lot more than $100 million. But just because something has a positive expected value or a higher expected value doesn't mean you should follow it blindly in the real world when there are other factors in play. You aren't running that thought experiment 100 times. You have one shot to either win $1 million or $10 million, and that's it. If we go back to our poker hand, what if we add in some outside factors? Like, let's say this isn't a cash game we're playing, but we're playing in a tournament and we're right on the bubble. We're about to make some money. We're almost cashing in the tournament, but if we bust out right now, then we lose everything. Would you still be willing to call that all in, even if you only have a 57% chance of winning? Do you want to stake your tournament life on 57%? Suddenly feels a whole lot more nerve-wracking, even though you are still a favorite. And of course, the reason we're bringing this up today is to relate to League of Legends and really all sorts of other sporting events in life. Have you guys ever watched the World Cup or the LCS or Worlds or something, and you notice that during the group stages and during the earlier moments in the tournament, teams will be a whole lot more aggressive and action will be more fast-paced, the games will be more entertaining and exciting. But the closer and closer you get to the finals, the more games will slow down and people will stop being so aggressive and fun. The reason for that is the same sort of mentality is going through players' minds. Let's take a League of Legends example. Let's say you're a top laner playing League and you're in this scenario where you're thinking you want to go aggressive and maybe go for a trade or even a kill on your opponent. Things aren't going to be as mathematically rigid as they are in poker, but let's say you're able to calculate around a 60% chance of success. You're confident in your ability to go and pick up a kill, but there are some unknowns in this scenario, like you don't have your lane warded. Maybe the jungle is coming to gank you and your opponent is trying to bait that out. In solo queue, this is something that you should always take, because that 60% chance means that the majority of the time you're going to be able to get that kill or get the positive trade and start snowballing the lane and hopefully win more games than you lose, even if there are going to be some scenarios where you do get ganked, you do get counter ganked, and someone's able to, maybe you end up losing the lane. But if you bring up that same scenario and you're in the world finals for a league, or if you're even just in your promotional matches going up to platinum, suddenly that 60% chance doesn't feel that big. It doesn't feel like a guaranteed win, and you might want to hold off and wait for a more guaranteed opportunity where your opponent makes a big mistake, like trying to tower dive you when they shouldn't be, or wait for your own jungle to come up and help you. When so much is on the line and you don't have a gigantic sample size, you only have here and now, you want to go for guaranteed opportunities and not, say, those 60% chances. This is something that's important to remember when you're playing solo queue, when it is you should be going for them and when you might want to hold off because you're in your promotional matches to platinum and you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of your entire audience on YouTube. Tomorrow we have our Road to Diamond series where we're hopefully going to be playing through our promos and getting to platinum, where if you guys see me playing a little more passively, that's what's going through my mind. It's something to remember when you're playing solo queue yourself, when you should be taking those 60% chance shots. And if you're watching IEM this weekend, and if you're wondering why it is people aren't doing it. Anyway though, that's all for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this little vlog. I will see you all in tomorrow's episode of Road to Diamond, but until then, thank you very much for watching, good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.